Lasha Talakhadze is the strongest weightlifter ever, and I think there is even a point to be made about him being the strongest man ever. But back in 2024, after winning his third Olympic gold, he retired from the sport. He was already 31 years old, which is as old as a good weightlifter will get at the highest level. But now he decided to come back to weightlifting. He snatched 185 kilos, clean and jerk 210 kilos, and I think that he won't win the World Championships in China in 3 months. Now that is a little bit far from the general opinion that Lasha could always come back and always win and beat everyone, but I simply don't think it's the case, and I have actually 3 points about this and why I think that it's pretty much over for Lasha. The first one is the competition. Following the Lasha era, the super heavyweight class kind of grew into something much bigger than it used to be. Lasha dominated his weight class for extremely long. He snatched 225 kilos when the most anyone else has done during his career was 217 kilos, which is the second heaviest snatch of all time, but which is still 8 kilos under what he managed to do. And in the clean and jerk, it's even more noticeable. The truth is that he clean and jerked in the 260s and went up to 267. That was a common occurrence for him. But the strongest super heavyweights in his direct competition barely ever did 250 kilos. Gorminasian, Varzat, these guys were barely pushing the 250s, and they still are barely pushing the 250s to this day, which means that Lasha had pretty much an open field. And I think that slowly this open field is starting to disappear. Back then, Lasha could have a pretty bad day and still come out with a victory pretty easily. We saw this in Paris, where Lasha actually failed his third snatch. He failed the 220 kilo snatch, which is the one of only 2 times in his entire career that he did that. And he only ended up with a 255 kilo clean and jerk, which was very hard. I won't put the footage here because the Olympics will ban the channel, but you can check it out online. It wasn't an easy lift. Now, it just so happened that at the Olympics, Gorminasian and Varzat weren't able to push Lasha and weren't able to make the lift that they needed to do to win. Lalayan had the winning lift on his shoulder, he just didn't manage to make it. And now I think that the field is very different. We now have a lot of young lifters that are on the come up, and one guy in particular I think needs to be noted as the potential next Lasha. It's a big thing to say, of course, knowing that Lasha is still here, but I want to talk about Ali Ammar from Iraq. Ali Ammar is one of the greatest super heavyweight talents I have ever seen. So you can think about it and compare him to the likes of a young Lasha, of course, but also to the likes of a Pizarenko, of a Kurlovic, of a Rezazadeh. But he is lifting more than all of these guys did at the same age by a pretty long margin. Ali Ammar at the Islamic Games last year snatched 212 kilos, which is one of the heaviest snatches of all time. It's kind of crazy to think about the fact that now it doesn't sound like such an amazing lift because of Lasha, but it is enormous. And he clean and jerked 247 for a pretty easy lift, I must say. He failed his second attempt on a stupid mistake in the jerk, but I believe that he would have been able to do more. Now that was right around a year ago, and since then Ali Ammar has been training, and if we are to go by his general progression between competition, he's competing around once a year for the last few years. If he progressed even half of what he progressed in the past, he is winning the World Championships easily. He could do 215 kilos, 255 kilos, without any true struggle. And I think that that would even be enough to beat the current 2 times world champion, Varzat Lalayan. Lalayan is always a bit of a wild card. He could always turn up to this competition and finally snatch 220 or finally clean and jerk 255, 260, but he hasn't done it in the last 8 years, so it's a little bit hard to imagine that he will do it this time. Now, 215, 255 still seems to be in the realm of possibilities for Lasha. Of course, it's exactly what he did at the Olympics in Paris, but the problem is that he's getting older, and that's something that's undeniable, and that people tend to like to ignore. It's really easy to look at a weightlifter that used to be so good, so exceptional, 225, 267, arguably the best weightlifter ever. But that was 5 years ago. Lasha will be turning 33 before the World Championships. And by the LA Olympics in 2028, he will be 35. For a super heavyweight, it is unheard of to perform at such a high level for so long. And the truth is that you just cannot assume he will be able to come back even to his Paris level yet. It's a little bit too early and it's a little bit unrealistic. And it's especially unrealistic for Lasha. Lasha didn't stop his career, didn't stop performing because he decided that he wanted to stop. Lasha battled with a lot of injuries and a lot of health problems throughout the end of his career. In 2022, he talked about at the World Championships that he was trying to take it a little bit easier because he had heart problems and he has a family, and of course he liked to be there for this family. He also injured his leg really bad back, I think, around 2022, 2023, and after that he never was the same again. And you could say that he took so much rest off, but it's only really a year and a half. And the truth is that Lasha has taken a year and a half off before the Paris Olympics. In 2023, he actually did really good. He snatched 220 kilos, clean and jerked in the 250s pretty easily, and then he just didn't compete until the Olympics. And because of this, many were quick to assume that Lasha would show up to the Olympics in his best shape ever, but he just wasn't. He actually lost in the snatch for the first time since 2016. He got kiloed by Gore Minassian, even if, of course, he ended up winning the competition, but that is telling for the best snatcher of all time. Now, finally, there is a third thing that I think is worth mentioning. Every 3 times Olympic gold medalists have tried to come back for a 4th Olympic gold, and all of them failed. The first one, Naim Suleymanoglu, competed for the last time, winning in 1996 at the Olympics, and he then came back in 2000 and bombed out. We then have Pur Zimas, who competed for the last time in 2004, trying to earn his 4th Olympic gold, but he only got a bronze. Then we got Kagiashvili, who also had his last competition in 2004, where he bombed out. We then had Halil Mutlu, who got taken for doping just after the Olympics, who got caught for doping just after his 3rd Olympic gold, and just didn't manage to push towards his last Olympics. And then, of course, we have Luc Zerjoun. Luc Zerjoun famously tried to come back for the Paris Olympics before getting caught for doping. So we have a 0% success rate of 3 times Olympic champions winning a 4th Olympic gold. And we only have a 20% success rate of a 3 times Olympic gold medalist coming back and winning a medal at all, knowing that the other ones were bomb outs or doping tests related. Now, does that mean that Lasha will not win the Olympics in 2 years? Well, it's definitely way too early to say, but if I am to go on from the current state of the super heavyweight class, the history of Lasha, the history of all 3-time gold medalists in the past, I would say that it is more likely that he will not win rather than he will. And the most important thing that I'd like to say is that at the World Championships in 3 months, I don't think he will be nearly ready enough to win. And if he loses, it will be his first official loss at the World Championships since he took part in the 2011 World Championships, back when he was 18 years old. Now let me know what you think in the comment and make sure to drop a follow and a like if you like the video.